Hello, my name is Marcus Clayville and I wanted to have a talk to you about something that I feel is very important to us and the world around us. It's vital energy or bioelectricity, okay? It's something that we can generate within ourselves once we've trained ourselves to have a higher mind and a powerful body. Causing dynamics, which is a force that stimulates change or process within a system, okay? And this would be our biological system through a discipline, which is basically a branch of knowledge typically studied in higher education. Now, this vital energy, in my belief, comes from developing ourselves into a state of a galvanic process, which is a chemical reaction that produces electric currents and vice versa, electric currents which produce chemical reactions. And I believe these happen internally within our body and then also externally in the atmosphere around us. When we see different colored sunsets, we see changing clouds, we see lots of cloud patterns around us. Now new evidence is coming in from satellites, which is statistical data over periods of time, even over 1 year now. I've recently got some material from the Jet Propulsion Laboratories from NASA, and these are now almost 1 decade long. As a matter of fact, they are 1 decade long charts. Now it's in the Science Illustrated Australian version from August 2016, and you can find you can find that if you want. That's up to you. Now, the process of cloud changing, in my opinion, when you've developed yourself into a higher being who's capable of generating bioelectricity, okay, affects the atmosphere by a process of evapotranspiration, which is the process by which water is transferred from the land to the atmosphere by evaporation, and the evaporation is caused by magnetohydrodynamics, okay, which is a branch of physics that studies the behavior of electrically conducting fluid acted on by a magnetic field, okay. So these are some very important terms that I want you guys to have a look at, and I believe that the process of putting water up into the sky, up into the air, and cloud making and sky changing is basically known as a divine practice. You're basically your status has been elevated because you're a superhuman by then. And you know, I want you to try and check out a book called The Naked Warrior, which is an excellent PDF that teaches you how to train your body without any weights, only using your own body weight as training for, say, push-ups and planking and abdominal exercises, and so on and so forth. Now, I also want you guys to learn how to cross-reference on Google by opening lots of new tabs up, typing into the Google search browser, into the search engine, the word define, and then whatever you're looking for, say dynamic. So dynamic tells you it's one of a process or system characterized by constant change, activity or progress. 2, of a person positive in attitude and full of energy and new ideas. And this is sort of what we try and encompass our daily and weekly lives in to live happier lives. Okay, you need to train, you need to be dynamic, not the opposite, which is static, which means you're constantly still. Okay, you need to be dynamic, which means you're energized, you're full of energy. Okay, and you're constantly changing. Okay, so your body is changing because your muscles. Okay, your mind's changing because you're reading a book every night. Your mind's changing because you're practicing the guitar a lot. You know, I want you to try the Guitar Pro demo as well and see if that helps you. I want you to get some exciting books, anything that you've already got reading material around you, and reading is a skill, okay, which takes some time to develop. Okay, it can take up to 2 years, or it can take, you know, you're probably halfway there. You're probably only about a few months away from being a very fast and very excellent reader who enjoys reading every night, because the books, they give you better information than the television does, okay, because it's not annoying to you, you know what I mean? It's you're doing it very comfortable, the comfort of your own bedroom, in your lounge chair or in your bed, reading some information which is the type of information that you've selected according to, you know, your interests. And so I actually do some exercise. I do lots of push-ups at home. I can change the clouds myself, okay. I see the atmosphere changing around me daily, okay. And now I've got new evidence from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory from NASA in my new Science Illustrated Australian magazine from August 2016, okay, which is showing me a whole decade of water volumes on the land mass, okay, and so it's showing me that in the last 5 years, when I've been extremely active and changing the atmosphere around me every day by being biologically galvanic, having chemical reactions that cause electricity, and we know that to electricity, a magnetic field develops around it. Now I felt electricity in the bottom of my feet. Okay, I felt my feet vibrating many times. I felt the electricity come to the bottom base of my spine and vibrate there, even to the point of discomfort many times. Okay, but I keep training, I keep reading books, and I keep doing push-ups. I keep going jogging. I keep playing guitar with Guitar Pro and trying to memorize some songs, okay, to keep my life interesting and dynamic, okay, and then I feel like God has recognized me, okay. Now I really want you guys to remember that life revolves around discipline, leaving some few bad habits behind. One of my first theories was that I was going to do 3 healthy things for myself, okay, and that was the way I was going to make it. And at the time I was actually doing 2 or 3 unhealthy things, okay. I was being static, I wasn't moving around enough, alright, I was smoking some cigarettes, okay, and I was drinking alcohol on Friday nights, okay. So my life wasn't going the way I wanted it to, okay, until I'd actually sat around and learned so much guitar, okay, over the course of about 2.5 years with my computer aiding me, that I started getting some help from sort of invisible forces. One of the important things I consider a lot is the visible and the invisible, okay. So say the food in our refrigerator, okay, now we've got the sustenance we need, we've got nutrition, okay, this is a good thing, these are visible. However, the invisible part is the fact that there's coal being burned at the electrical power station, okay, and we don't really strive hard enough to be worth it, okay. Now also there's the slaughter that occurs, okay, for our packaged meat, even the meat on top of our pizza, Okay, so we've got to be good people. We've got to be dynamic. We've got to read books. We've got to exercise or practice an instrument. There are disciplines all through. I want you to look through martial arts ebooks, okay, and try and find disciplines that encourage you to train. I want you to also, perhaps one of the ebooks I recommend is called The Naked Warrior, that demonstrates the use of your own body weight for exercises which will give you health benefits, and these include planking, which is basically staying in a push-up position for example for a minute, doing push-ups, or what are also called press-ups. Okay, I like the diamond press-up, and I like the two-hand press-up. Both good, and also your intestines are very important as well, and your stomach is. So that ebook teaches you how to strengthen your intestines by basically applying some pressure and breathing in deeply. Okay, breathing in halitosis is also a very important thing. Now I wanted to also remind you guys about the Bible and a few things the Bible suggests, which is sort of clues towards being a spiritual human being. The Bible suggests that your house can be a church. So just think that you want to energize your psyche, your spirit, mind, and soul. Okay, so you do this basically by reading. Okay, so there's so many encyclopedias on religion and the occult that you can always have a lot of interesting stuff to read. Believe you me that religion and spirituality have been big for maybe 3,000 to 5,000 years. Okay, and now with the massive amount of technology and consumer goods that we're receiving, it's kind of just become a little bit more obscure for a little while. Okay, but it needs to be vivified and revived. Okay, spirituality and religion. Okay, so the Bible suggests that the home can be a church. Okay, so you can have a very peaceful and very humble and religious home. Okay, where you feel at peace and you feel blessed. Okay, it's your own sanctuary to read, to study. You can do exercises at home. You know, you can cultivate your mind and your body and your soul. Okay, at home, if you take the right approaches and slowly start to evolve and develop into a more humble and spiritual being. Now, I also want to remind you that the Bible tells us that it's very important that, and God in His own philosophy has stated to some of the apostles of Jesus that He wants you to understand the Bible. Okay? He wants you to be smart enough to read the Bible. Okay? Because society needs more smart people. Okay? This is very important to us. So I want you to keep in mind that you can email Gideons, GIDEONS.org or www.gideons.org.au, okay, and request a free Bible, and they'll actually post one to you. It's probably the best thing you'll get online. The best thing you'll probably ever get online, because it can save your soul, believe you me. And I want to also remind you about another sort of an allegory or a mystery that the Bible sheds light on, is that the Bible reminds us that He wants us as a spiritual person and an adept, as a spiritual adept who wants to become healthy internally and externally, and you can develop to such a high status and high degree of spiritual health that the atmosphere changes around you. The animals, the birds, they sing more around you. They're always happy around you because you're basically your magnetic field, in my opinion. But that's up to you, you know. But I really want you to get onto Google and type in define magnetohydrodynamics, okay, one word, and see what you think about it all, you know, and define vital energy and see what you think about that. Now, I want to remind you that the Bible teaches us to seek the kingdom of God first, okay? Okay? It says, remember, first you must seek the kingdom of God. And we believe that we see it in the sky above us, okay? In the distant horizon, as very large masses of cloud that are of ineffable beauty, and these clouds remind us of the kingdom of God. And when you're thinking about this, your mind, you have to start to ponder and think about it scientifically. Think about how many times would I have to magnify it before I could actually see like the molecules or what's actually going on in there. And this makes our mind more dynamic because we've got something we need to cross-reference, we need to go and research, we can read about the science, we can read about mythology, theology, occult terminologies and the things that they believe, okay? So look, I'm pretty much going to wrap this up now because I want it to be a pretty short video clip, just to remind you guys that there is a ton of importance in being healthy internally and externally, and the key is the mind, the body and the soul, and the key is also to energize the psyche, which is the soul, the spirit and the mind, okay? So you just remember that the Bible actually tells us, when it mentions that it's important that you understand this whole book, okay? It mentions that it's more important to understand the whole book than it is to be physically active and to be able to run laps around the oval, okay? Around the grass track, okay? It's however, when you want to keep on developing into a better person, into the into the happiest type of being you can be, it's very important that you study the Bible to get a better realization, which will develop into self-realization, which may well develop into you being elevated into a happier being and a more humble being and a more dynamic being, okay, which is one of my favorite words these days is dynamics. Rightio. Well, God bless you guys. You just have a lovely time searching the web. And look, even though the internet is cluttered full of stuff that doesn't make us that happy, is sort of nonsense or incomprehensible, it's a little silly and so on and so forth. Don't forget that the books, they're on your shelf, bro. And even though at times the negative vortices or the negative energy of the internet can affect you and start to make you feel down, the books might be the key, okay, to the positive energy and the positive dynamics which your mind needs to become galvanic or volcanic. If you consider your mind a battery, there are chemical reactions that cause electricity and vice versa, and we feel that this happens internally in our bodies when our brains are switched on, high powered, highly active, okay, thoughtful, amongst lots of other things, which basically I want to remind you of the division I make in my philosophies when I'm pondering on whether to go left or go right. Okay, when I've got a decision to make, I think about good and bad. Is this good? Is this bad? Okay, so dynamic and full of energy and constantly changing, that's good. Being static is bad, because then you're still, you're lethargic, you're non-active. Okay, and so these are very fundamental and basic principles which you can start to incorporate into your schedule for the week, for your activities. Okay, so you say, should I go to the bar or should I go to the gym? Okay, so of course you can still go to the bar, but what about thinking, hey, isn't it better if I go to the bar once every 3 or 4 weeks instead of weekly? Okay, and then go to the gym 3 times a week instead, you know, and then, you know, the sun might start shining through your window. Okay, because we truly believe this is a spiritual world, and spirituality and religion have been revivified and revived in some ways. In some ways it never went, alright, but in some ways it's back and it's more powerful than ever. Alrighty-o, God bless you guys. Keep up the good work. Go to the gym, don't go to the bar.